Well, congratulations on all your success.
Thank you.
For your movie. How do you think it'll translate to a smaller screen?
What will translate? The movie?
Yeah. Or at least the character.
Sorry, I don't understand the question. How it will?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, just being in the same universe. Yeah.
Oh, but yeah. So the show is something else, completely else.
Yeah.
So I don't think they won't translate either way. So, but the show is it's a completely separate thing than the movie, and it's a TV show. It's a miniseries, so it's meant to be consumed. I don't know. I was talking to show. An hour times 10, and it's sort of I love that format. That it's almost like reading a novel, right? It's like you can really immerse yourself into this sort of slow build of the story, and this show is 10 episodes, and it'll have a beginning and a middle and an end.
So you've done now a lot of genre work. You did Hemlock Grove, and now you're doing Castle Rock, and there's also, of course, Pennywise and It. Do you find that you enjoy that work a lot, and that you can explore characters in a different way than in normal, genre sci-fi fantasy work, or are you drawn to those in particular, or is it just kind of something that's happened?
It's sort of just happened. I guess I've been cast. I've gotten these jobs. It hasn't been that I've actively pursued just genre-based shows or films. It's just that I've happened to be booking these things. And I don't know why exactly that is, but I guess my sort of talents or looks or face or whatever sort of lends itself pretty well to the genre. And I love darker, sort of mysterious stories. I've always have. So I'm really having fun with it, and they're all very, very different challenges and different characters. And that's ultimately what's most important for me, is to not do the same thing over and over again. So even though they're similar in tone and genre, this character is the complete opposite to what Pennywise was.
Actually, speaking of that, can you tell us a little bit about your character?
Basically, no. So the Shawshank Penitentiary is a setting in the show, sort of the infamous jail and prison, and my character is a prisoner there. That's like pretty much all I can say. But I'll tell you that I'm really enjoying the character, and I'm having fun with it. And we're halfway through the show now, and I'm not exactly sure how it's going to end, but I'm having fun working, and I think the show can be. I think the show can really work. I think it's hitting all these right notes in terms of Stephen King and the theme of this sort of dark mystery, at times almost absurd, which is, I think, true to sort of the way Stephen King writes as well. And the character is really fun. I'm looking forward to it coming out and showing you all.
Have you been given kind of the creative freedom to make your own choices without giving away too much for your character, or?
As an actor, you're entrusted with embodying a role, and then you make it your own. The character's fun. There's a lot of choices to be made. So he's not like it's very different than me. So there's a sort of a transformative character in that sense, that it's there's a lot of choices to be made and explored. So. Which I always think is fun. I love Pennywise is obviously one of those characters, but I love doing roles where you can sort of transform yourself and sort of these bizarre characters that you try to figure out, and you come up with a body language and a physicality and a voice and everything, and it's really fun, you know. But that being said, I mean, I don't know, like this show is sort of also, I guess, a little bit of themes of that as well. And then the next thing I'll do, it might be something much closer to me, you know, like I don't know, like a rom-com or something. I don't know.
Is that what you feel closest to? Is that?
I'm just saying that usually those type of roles are very subtle. Like you sort of sound and act like yourself. This role, I'm not. You know, it's also one of those roles that are very different than who I really am. So, but then there's roles where the character is much closer to who you are for whatever that reason is. And usually, if the role is sort of, oh, it's a young guy, falls in love or whatever, it's like you might not go and change your voice all that much or your physicality. So it all depends. You know?
Do you find the physical transformation really challenging, or like emotionally, what's more challenging for you? You have to go to these dark places.
Yeah. I mean, there are different types of challenges. I think physicality is something that you work on before, and then you sort of it's supposed to be second nature when you're doing it. Like you figured out a way of movement, and then when you're doing it, you shouldn't really think about it. And the emotional thing is something that you do on the day. You can't really prepare for emotion in the same way, or like not in advance at least. So you need to, or at least for me, I need to get into that place for that scene and find whatever that is and come in, like find that energy, and then once you start rolling, you need to sort of be there and unleash it. And there's different ways to achieve that, and sometimes it's harder days than others, and sometimes it's really easy. It's hard to control. It's sort of just a chemical thing that happens in your body.
Is there something in Stephen King's work, now that you've done more than one property, his sense of humor, the way he looks at the world, the way he writes characters, is there something in particular that you
I think, I mean, I love, like he has sort of this very absurd, almost like, his themes are scary and bizarre at the same time. Which it's just a testament to his creativity. It's stories and worlds that are like completely original, and like where all these things come from. But ultimately, I think what really makes him work, or his work, so good. I think is his characters. He's so detailed in describing people, and then horrible things happen to these people, and that is ultimately what is terrifying. So you get to know these people, and you recognize these people, and maybe yourself, or people that you know, or people that you've met, and you know he's very in tune to the minor little detail things and quirks that everyday people have, and then he sets that up, and then something terrible happens to the people, and I think that is sort of truly why his work becomes so sort of horrific. I think that's what the show is trying to do as well. It's sort of capturing that true essence of strong characters. And without it, I don't think any story works. You know?
What do you think it is about small town Maine that makes it such like an evocative setting for all these often different stories?
Well, I mean, he's from there, so I think for him, he's all these places are, I think, to a degree, somewhat based on Bangor, Maine, which is where he's from. So I think it's just personal to Stephen King, and then he's sort of set all these stories around a place that he knows. And then there's something about small towns that it's a town like Castle Rock can be. The entire town can be cursed. Same thing with Derry. It's like it's the town itself is such a big character in the story, and sort of these terrible things happen to people living in these places.
So people will know Shawshank from obviously the Shawshank Redemption, and that will be a familiar setting for audiences. But do you think that the Shawshank that will be visited in Castle Rock is very different from the Shawshank, or there going to be similarities?
It's definitely similarities. It's the same prison, so it is the same place. So the things that have happened in Shawshank has happened in Shawshank. So it's, these settings are not meant to be separate, but the same. So the history of these places that we've seen in Stephen King's worlds and books are things that have actually happened in the Castle Rock universe as well. So I'll tell you, like we shot. I'm not sure if I can even tell you what prison we used, but we used this old prison for the interiors, and it was truly haunted. Like they shut it down 25 years ago, but it was built during the Civil War, and it was just you walked around there, and inside of the cells. In the solitary wing, there's actually carvings and graffiti from the inmates that live there, and just horrific place. I mean, they had it open until '95, I think, and you walk in there, and it was built during the Civil War, and it looks like it. Like it's unfathomable that someone could live there only 20 years ago, because it was like. There was no air conditioning, there was no nothing, right? And it's just a truly haunted place, and I think it will bring a lot to the show, and everything that I thought that Shawshank would be is sort of this place. So I'm excited to see it on the screen.
Thank you. Gotta move them on.
Thank you very much, guys. Yeah.